Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma 'allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilman ya rabbal alamin. Allahumma arzuqna al-ikhlasa fil aqwali wal a'mal. Allahumma jal 'amalana fi ridaka amin ya rabbal alamin. Alhamdulillah, we are into the explanation of the book عمدة الطالب من نيل المعارب of Sheikh Mansoor ibn Yunus al-Buhuti rahimahullah. And last week we completed the discussion on Salatul Jum'ah. In this week, tonight we'll begin with the discussion on Salatul Eidayn, and then we'll enter into the chapter concerning the Janaza, Kitaabul Janaaiz. So this Baab is concerning Salatul Eidayn. So the Musannif rahimahullah says, Salatul Eidaini fardu kifayatin iza tarakaha ahlu baladin qatalahum al-imam. Salatul Eidain, the two Eid prayers, Eidul Fitr wa Eidul Adha, these are the only two Eid for a Muslim to celebrate in an year, uh, are fard kifaya. They are communal obligation, which means they are not individual obligation, rather they are communal obligation, not fard ain, it's fard kifaya. Which means if some people from the community, if they pray, then the obligation is waived off from the other. And if none prays, then all those who are capable of praying will be sinful and held accountable by Allah. إِذَا تَرَكَهَا أَهْلُ بَلَدٍ قَاتَلَهُمُ الْإِمَامِ. And if a people of a country, yani those who are Muslims, but they do not pray it, they do not pray Salatul Eid or Eidain, both of them, then the Imam will fight these people. Why? Because Salatul Eidain, these are the most manifest rituals of Islam. Salatul Eidain are the most manifest rituals of Islam, and they should be observed. It is fard kifaya. Nobody prays, then the Imam has the right to fight them. Then he says, وَوَقْتُهَا كَصَلَاةِ الضُّحَى مِنْ ارْتِفَاعِ الشَّمْسِ قَدْرَ رُمْحٍ إِلَى قُبَيْلِ الزَّوَالِ. What is the time of praying Salatul Eid? The time of praying Salatul Eid, it begins from the time of Salatul Duha. And what is the time of Salatul Duha? It is around 10 minutes past the sunrise time, approximately 15 minutes, between 10 to 15 minutes past the sunrise time. Uh, and it lasts until just before Zawal for Salatul Eid and both of them. So it begins from the time of Salatul Duha and it lasts until just before Zawal. If the information about the Eid prayer, specifically we are talking about Eid al-Fitr, if it arrives late after the time of Zawal, then it is to be prayed the next day qada'an. The next day Salatul Eid, because you cannot pray it after Zawal. So you have to pray it the next day as qada. While this is not the case with the Eid al-Adha, because you get to know when the month is starting, and Eid al-Adha, it lies on the 10th of Zilhijjah, while Eid al-Fitr, it lies on the 1st of Shawwal. So there, the chances of information coming late, and this is very common, especially in India, it is very common. And I have seen multiple times in my life that it's happened, wherein the information came late. We woke up in the state of fasting, and then the announcement was done, and everyone broke their fast and prayed the Salatul Eid the next day. وَتُسَنُّ فِي سَهْرَاءَ قَرِيبَةٍ وتقديم صلاة الأضحى وعكسه الفطر وأكله قبلها عكس أضحى لمضحٍ. Now, what are the sunan? So he says it is masnoon to pray both of these prayers in the Sahara, in the open ground, not in the masjid. Nearby open ground, it is to be prayed there, not in the masjid. Why is it so? Because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he did it, despite the fact that there is a reward of praying salat in Al Masjid al Nabawi. Still, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not pray in there, which indicates that it is sunnah to pray it not in the masjid but outside. Again, all of these things, they depend on how many people are there. In our present times, it may not be possible because we don't have open grounds of this size which can accommodate, alhamdulillah, all the Muslims. So in such cases, uh, it is permissible for one to pray Salatul Eid in the masajid as well, as it happens. However, masnoon is that it is to be offered outside of the masjid. وَتَقْدِيمُ صَلَاةِ الْأَضْحَى. Although it is masnoon to pray Salatul Adha early. Early means you cannot pray it before the time. Yani immediately after the time of Eid prayer, yani immediately after the time of Salatul Duha, offer it as early as possible and delay the Salat Eidul Fitri. Uh, Also, it was from the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that for Eidul Fitr, he would not go out for praying the Salat Eidul Fitri before eating odd number of dates. So he would eat odd number of dates, then he will go out for Salatul this Eidul Fitri. And for Eidul Adha, he would not eat until he would slaughter the animal and eat from the meat of this slaughtered animal. So this is the reason the slaughtering of or the praying of Salatul Adha is advanced a bit, and it is prayed as early as possible after the time, while Eid ul Fitr time is delayed a little bit because the person he goes out after eating something. So he says wa akluha qablaha, yani qablaha yani qabla Eid ul Fitri is sunnah, and opposite of it is for Eid ul Adha. Wa aksu adha, opposite of it, which means he would eat after Mudahin, the one who is slaughtering the sacrificial animal. So this person will eat after having slaughtered the sacrificial animal. So he will eat from the meat of this animal afterwards. وَتُكْرَهُ فِي جَامِعٍ بِلَا عُذْرٍ. And it is disliked to pray it in a masjid without a valid excuse. So this bila uzrin, it includes even congestion, too many people are there, it is not possible to pray all of them to this open grounds, it is not possible to accommodate all of them. In that case, this is an uzr which makes it permissible to pray it inside the masajid, as we do now, alhamdulillah. Wa yakhruju ilayha ila ahsani halin, and a person should go towards performing Eid prayer in the best of posture, in the best of condition, with the best clothes, not necessarily new, but the best clothes that he has, he should wear those clothes, apply perfume. وَيُبَكِّرُ مَعْمُومٌ مَاشِيًا. The ma'mum, those who will be led in the prayer, they should go early to the masjid, and if possible, they can sit immediately after the praying the Salatul Fajr as well. They can wait there, keep on doing the takbirat until the Imam comes out. And it is masnoon to go walking, mashiyan. وَيَتَأَخَّرُ إِمَامٌ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ. And the Imam should come late. This is also from the masnoonat, that the Imam should come late just before the Salatul Eid, unlike the Ma'mum who will go early. Then he says, وَمِن شَرْطِهَا إِسْتِعْتَانٌ وَعَدَدُ الْجُمْعَةِ. So from amongst its condition, from the conditions of acceptance of Salatul Eid is istiatan, which we saw earlier as well. Istiatan means Eid prayer is only to be observed in a place where there are residential people living in there, unlike those who live in tents, the Bedouins. So it is not obligatory upon them. So it is obligatory upon permanent residents living in constructed houses, istiatanun. Also, Adadul Jum'ati, likewise, there should be 40 people. According to the Hanabila, there is a weak narration. Based on that, they say 40 people are to be there. So, min shartiha, these two things, plus those conditions which we already studied in for the Salatul Jum'ah. Then he says, وَيَرْجِعُ مِن طَرِيقٍ أُخْرَى. And this we saw for Salatul Jum'ah as well. This was from the methodology and the sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to go by one route and to come back by another, because the more routes you will take, even those routes will give be a witness for you. You will meet more people, you will say salam to more people, you will congratulate more people. So وَيَرْجِعُ مِن طَرِيقٍ أُخْرَى وَيُصَلِّي قَبْلَ الْخُطْبَةِ رَكْعَتَيْنِ. وَيُصَلِّي, and this is if you are praying outside. يعني ويصلي قبل الخطبة ركعتين. And however, in this case, uh, before the khutbah, this Salatul Eid has to be offered, unlike the Jum'ah. Unlike the Jum'ah, Salatul Eid has to be offered before the khutbah, and the khutbah, it comes after praying the two rak'ah. And it happened that some of these governors, they used to reverse this order. They used to reverse this order uh, during when the companions were alive. So there were some people who tried to reverse the order. But the fact is that the khutbah is done given after the 2 units of Eid prayer, and there are no prayers to be offered. There are no prayers to be offered before Salatul Eid, especially if you are praying in the open area. So there are no prayers to be offered. Regarding the prayers which are to be offered after Salatul Eid, then there are some narrations which are authentic. In fact, it is from the forgotten Sunnah that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would offer 2 units of prayer after he would come back from Salatul Eid. He would offer 2 units of prayer at home, not in the masjid or in the that open ground. However, in our times, when we are offering the prayers in the masajid, then the scholars they say you can pray tahiyatul masjid, because it is masjid. It is not the musalla or the Eid musalla. It is masjid, and you can offer. But again, it should be vetted and understood on case to case basis. And if it may lead to some kind of fitna wherein there are people who don't understand these minute issues of the religion, then better not to pray. So it all goes back to the wisdom and how you feel and perceive at that moment, what kind of people are attending the prayer. So give a thought to these points and issues as well. ويكبر في علا بعد استفتاح وقبل تعوذ وقراءة ستا. يعني this is Eid prayer. In the Eid prayer there are 6 zawaid, 6 extra takbirat in the first rakah. In total, there are 7 if you include the Takbiratul Ihram. In the first rakah, 7 takbirat, including Takbiratul Ihram, and 6 zawaid. The first one, which is Takbiratul Ihram, is the rukn of the prayer, and the 6 zawaid, Takbirat, are from the Sunnah, which means if somebody does not say it, his prayer is Sahih. وفي الثانية قبل قراءة خمسا. And in the second rakah, there are 5 zawaid takbirat other than the takbiratul intiqaliyah, other than the takbiratul intiqal. Yani the takbir which you say for getting up from the first rakah to the second rakah, exclude it. Other than that, there are 5 extra takbirat. Yarfa'u yadayhi ma kulli takbiratin. And it is like sunnah, because it is reported from some companions that they used to raise their hands raful yadain when the imams would say the takbirat, this zawaid takbirat. It is sunnah to raise the hands or to do raful yadain. And it is also sunnah, again this is something which is reported from the companions radiallahu anhum only, that between every takbir you can say Allahu Akbar kabira walhamdulillahi kathira wa subhanallahi bukratan wa asila wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin nabiyyi wa alihi wa sallama taslima. This is masnoon. If somebody says it's well and good. If you do not say, your prayer is still sahih. This masnoon. Wa in ahabba qala ghayra. And if he wishes, he can say other takbirat also. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Other takbirat he can do. Or if he doesn't say anything, that is also fine. If he doesn't raises the hand, that is also fine. وإن أحب قال غيره ويقرأ بعد الفاتحة في الأولى بسبح وفي الثانية بالغاشية. This was the sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to recite Sabbih Hisma Rabbikal Ala in the first rakah and Suratul Ghashiyah in the second rakah. وَإِذَا سَلَّمَ خَطَبَ خُطْبَتَيْن كَالْجُمْعَةِ. And when, after saying salam, after completing the Eid prayer, uh, the Imam will stand up and he will deliver 2 khutbat. Just like Jum'ah, the only difference is that the khutbah is given after the salat in this case. And these khutbat are masnoon for the Eid prayer, not like the Salatul Jum'ah. So they are masnoon, sunnah. Yastaftihul alula bitis takbiratin, just like, so he will open up the khutbah with 9 takbirat, begin with the khutbah with 9 takbirat, first khutbah with the 9 takbirat, and the second khutbah with 7. Then he says, wa khutbatani wa takbiratu az-zawaidu wa dhikru bainaha sunnatun. This is what I said, the 2 khutbat, those zawaid takbirat, 6 in the first rakah, 5 in the second rakah, and the zikr in between them, which we saw earlier, alhamdulillahi kathira, alhamdulillahi kabira, and all of those things, they are sunnah. And if somebody does not do it, and if he prays the Eid prayer just like a normal nafl prayer, his prayer would be sahih. وَقُرِهَا تَنَفُّلُهُ قَبْلَ الصَّلَاةِ وَبَعْدَهَا بِمَوْضِعِهَا. And it is disliked to pray any nafl prayer in the place of prayer itself, before or after it. Before or after it. And as we said, The place where you performed Eid prayer, it is disliked. But as we said, there is a sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that he used to offer 2 units of prayer after reaching home from the Eid prayer. So this is a forgotten sunnah which we must try to revive. Then he says, وَيُسَنُّ التَّكْبِيرُ الْمُطْلَقُ وَالْجَهْرُ بِهِ فِي لَيْلَتَيْ الْإِيدَيْنِ. The takbirat are of two types for Eid. One is the at-takbir al-mutlaq, and the second one is at-takbir al-muqayyad. Takbir al-mutlaq is the one which is not limited to any prayer time, and this is for both the Eid. It is for Eid al-Fitr as well and for Eid al-Adha as well. When does the time for takbir al-mutlaq it begins? Uh, it begins after the sun has set on the 29th or the 30th of Ramadan, and when it is the first of Shawwal. So from the night of first of Shawwal after the sunset, it will last for Eid al-Fitr until you go out for performing the Eid prayer. And when the Imam comes out, stop saying the takbir. So this is the time for a takbir al-mutlaq for the Eid al-Fitr. The takbir al-mutlaq for the Eid al-Adha, it begins from the first of Dhil Hijj. First of Dhil Hijj, it begins and you keep on saying until the days of Tashriq. Until the days of Tashriq, and it is not restricted to any prayer time. Whenever you are and wherever you are, in the market, in the office, at the school, at the college, at your work, you keep on saying the takbirat, which are mutlaq. Keep on saying as much as possible. So, وَيُسَنُّ التَّكْبِيرَ الْمُطْلَقُ وَالْجَهْرُ بِهِ فِي لَيْلَتَيِ الْإِيدَيْنِ, during the nights of Eid. During the nights of Eid. And وَفِطْرٍ آكَدْ, yani these takbirat for Eid al-Fitr are more emphasized. Why are they more emphasized? Because the ayah or the portion of the ayah which talks about walitukabbirullaha, this portion of the ayah, it has come in Surah Al-Baqarah in the context of Ramadan. So since this ayah is part of the Quran, therefore doing the takbirat for the fitr is more emphasized in comparison to the Eid al-Adha, though both are masnoon. وَفِي كُلِّ أَشْرِ ذِي الْحِجَّةِ, see, in all of the 10 days of Zil Hijj. And when we say 10 days of Zil Hijj, even 11, 12, 13th are included in it, though we just say 10 days of Zil Hijj. So all of these 10 days of Zil Hijj, at every time, whenever, wherever you are, you keep on saying and uttering and supplicating and with these takbirat. Wal muqayyad. So this is about the mutlaq. Muqayyad is only specific with the Eid al Adha. There is no muqayyad takbir for Eid al Fitr. So muqayyad is after every obligatory prayer, which is prayed in Jama'ah, in congregation, and it is specific to Eid al Adha. And when does a person says it? It begins from the Fajr, after the Fajr of Arafah, after the Fajr of Arafah. Just a point that when you see it written like this, Arafah, like this with the ta marbuta, then it is the time, any day. We are talking about the day, which is 9th of Zilhijj, Arafah with ta marbuta. And when you see it with the open ta, then it is the place, because it is Arafat, is the place. Okay, so like it has come in the Quran with the open ta. So it is talking about the place Arafat. When it is like this, ta marbuta, it is the time, the day, 9th of Zilhijj. So when does it begin? It begins with the Salatul Fajr. After praying Salatul Fajr on the 9th of Zilhijj, it begins the time for Takbir al Muqayyad, Takbir al Muqayyad, and it remains until the 13th, the Asr of the 13th of Zilhijj, last day of the Ayyamut Tashriq. The time, this is for everyone except for the Muhrim. For the Muhrim, the time for this Takbir al Muqayyad, it begins after the Zuhr of 10th of Zilhijj, because before that he is engaged in talbiya. Before this he is engaged in talbiya, so he will say talbiya. For him talbiya is better in comparison to these takbirat, so he will be busy with the talbiya. After the zuhar of yawmun nahar, this muhrim also will start doing the takbir al muqayyad after every prayer until the asr of the last days of ayyamut tashriq, which is the 13th of zilhijj. So after the asr of 13th of zilhijj, this person will stop the takbirat. وَإِن نَسِيَهُ قَدَاهُ مَوْضِعَهُ مَا لَمْ يُحْدِثْ أَوْ يُخْرِجْ مِنَ الْمَسْجِدِ. Now, if a person forgets
this takbir al muqayyad, if he forgets to say after the prayer, then he can say it immediately after it. If he reminds, in a near time, within a few minutes or so, then he can make up for this forgetfulness, and he can say immediately after it as soon as he realizes, provided it should not be a long time gap, or as long as he has not invalidated his wudu malam yuhdis, or as long as he has not gone out of the masjid. If any of these three things happens, then it is not permissible. Then it's its place is already missed, and there is no need to come up with it, because it is, in any case, it is sunnah. Wala yusannu aqiba salati eidin. Wala yusannu aqiba salati eidin. Yani, these takbirat are not to be said after praying the Salatul Eid, because Salatul Eid will be prayed on 10th of Zilhijj. So, do we need to say it after praying the Salatul Eid? These takbirat, after the takbir al muqayyad, the answer is no. These are to be said after the five obligatory prayers. Then he says wasifatuhu. How to say this takbir? It is shaf'an. It is in pair, yani even numbers. And there are others as well, like vitran is also reported. Like instead of saying Allahu Akbar twice, there are narrations wherein it is repeated three times. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and this. So, but this is what the Hanabila rahimahumullah, they chose it. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. So this is how you say the takbirah. Then Babun fi Salatil Kusoof. This chapter is concerning the eclipse prayer. Now, whether this eclipse could be solar or the lunar eclipse, the same prayer is offered for both of them. So he says, Tusannu Salatul Kusufi is a kusifa ahadun nayyirain. Ahadun nayyirain, he is referring to the sun and the moon. Because both of them have light, one of them has its own light, the other has the reflected light. But both are nayyirain. So it is masnoon to offer this prayer. In fact, as we saw earlier, it is the most emphasized voluntary prayer. In fact, there are some scholars who consider it to be obligatory, because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he prayed it whenever it happened, and it is not known exactly how many times solar eclipse occurred during the time of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but it is said that either once or twice is occurred, and he always prayed once or twice whenever it occurred, and he prayed Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He never left it. So to sunnu, it is masnoon and highly emphasized sunnah to pray Salatul Kusuf, eclipse prayer, when one of these two light emitting bodies, they are eclipsed. So 2 unit prayer is to be offered. And this prayer, it differs from the other prayers in the way it is offered. So he says, Yaqra'u jahran fil ula bil fatihati wa suratin tawilatin. So this is a prayer in which there will be 4 ruku and 4 sujud in one prayer. In 2 units, there will be 4 ruku and 4 sujud, unlike the normal prayer wherein you have 2 ruku and 4 sujud. But this, it differs a bit. So in this prayer, the Imam will recite Jahran loudly. In the first rakah, he will recite Suratul Fatiha. After Suratul Fatiha, he will recite a long surah, and then he will go into ruku. This first ruku is the pillar of the prayer. The first ruku is the pillar of the prayer. It is rukn. Then he will again stand up. After ruku, he will stand up again from the ruku. Summa yarfa musammiyan, yani he will rise up from the ruku saying Sami Allahu liman hamida, and then he'll say Rabbana walakal hamd and all the duas which we studied earlier. Summa, again he will start recitation. He will again recite Suratul Fatiha, again recite a surah, a long surah, but not as long as the first one which he recited earlier before going into the ruku. And then he will go again into the ruku second time. Okay, summa yarkau. And this ruku will also be long, but not as long as the first ruku. Yani it will be a little less. Summa yarfa'u wa yatadil. Then he will again stand up straight, yatadil. Summa yasjud. Then he will go into the sajda. He will do normally 2 sajdas. These sajdas are also longer, and these are all proportionate, yani. And in proportion to the salah, in proportion to the qiyam, his sujood and the ruku used to be all in proportion to the rest of the prayer. So this person will then, or the imam will then do 2 sajdas in the first rakah, and then he will pray the second rakah just like he prayed the first rakah. However, lakin dunaha min al kulli, yani the sifa, the description of the second unit will be lesser in terms of time, in terms of recitation and all those things, in comparison to the first rakah. It will be a little shorter comparatively. Summa yatashahhadu wa yusallim. Then he will normally do the tashahhud, and then he will say the salam, saying all of those things which we know are from the arkan and the wajibat and the masnunat of the prayer. He will do those things. وَإِن تَجَلَّ الْكُسُوفُ فِيهَا أَتَمَّهَا خَفِيفَةً. But if it happens that he is still in the prayer and the eclipse ends and the prayer is still not complete yet, what to do? Pray it quickly, shorten the prayer and pray it quickly, because the sabab for which you are praying, it doesn't exist anymore now and you are still in the prayer. So shorten the prayer and end it up quickly. وَقَبْلَهَا لَمْ يُصَلِّ. وَقَبْلَهَا, yani even before you pray Salatul Kusoof, if the eclipse ends, then you need not to pray, because the sabab, the reason, doesn't exist anymore. So it need not to be made up. There is no qada for it. وَيَصِيحُ فِعْلُهَا كَنَافِلَةٍ. Also, it is permissible for a person to pray it just like a voluntary prayer with one ruku and two sujud in every rakah. This is also permissible. And as I said, the first ruku is the rukun and the second ruku is sunnah. So if somebody misses the first ruku and joins the imam when he is reciting after getting up from the first ruku in the first rakah, then he has missed one rakah, and he will have to make up this one rakah after the imam says salam, because the first ruku is pillar and the second one is from the sunnah, the sunan of the prayer. ويصح فعلها كنافلة وبثلاث ركوعات وأربع وخمس. This is the most which is reported from Ali radiallahu anhu also, that it is permissible for person, instead of having two ruku in every rakah, you can also have three, you can also have four ruku in one rakah, and you can also have five ruku in one rakah. All of these are reported from the companions, but better and afdal is to do only two ruku in every rakah, because this is what is reported from the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then he says, Faslun fi salatil istisqa'i. Salatil istisqa'i. This chapter is concerning the istisqa, rain seeking prayer. So, وَإِذَا دَرَّ جَدْبُ أَرْضٍ وَقَهْتُ مَطَرٍ صَلَّوْا صَلَاةَ الْإِسْتِسْقَاءِ قَعِيدٍ فِيمَا تَقَدَّمَ. So, this prayer, which is the rain seeking prayer, istisqa, alif sin ta. Whenever you see this alif sin and ta, then it comes in the meaning of talab, seeking something. It comes in the meaning of seeking something. So, if the rain stops and the land becomes barren, it is recommended for the Imam to call upon the Muslims to perform Salatul Istisqa, the rain prayer, just as the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did. The prayer is performed in the same manner as Salatul Eid, including the extra takbirat also, and six additional takbirs after the opening takbir, Takbiratul Ihram in the first rakah, and five additional takbir after the takbir al intiqal in the second rakah, exactly like it. And وإذا در جدب أرض أو وقحط مطر صلوا صلاة الاستسقاء كعيد فيما تقدم. وإذا أراد الإمام الخروج لها وعاد الناس يوما يخرجون فيه وأمرهم بالتوبة وترك التشاهن والصيام والصدقة. So here he is saying that when the Imam intends to lead people in prayer, he sets a day for them to gather and go out for it. The sunnah is that the prayer should be performed in an open area, open field, unlike in the not in the masjid, just like the Eid prayer. The Imam encourages the people to repent, abandon disputes, tashahun or the disputes, fast. He encourages the people to fast and give charity, as since conflicts between the Muslims and excessive wrongdoing, oppression, dhulm are among the reasons for withholding of rain. Therefore, people should abandon sin and discord and seek repentance and increase in fasting and charity, making their supplications more likely to be accepted. The Imam should go out for the prayer in a state of humility, submissiveness, and devotion. This is how the Imam, even not only the Imam, but also the Mamumin, وَيَخْرُجُ مُتَوَاضِيًا مُتَخَشِّعًا مُتَضَلِّلًا. Yani, this is, Musannif Rahimullah is mentioning the hal, the situation of the Imam, yani, in terms of clothing, in terms of his walking, all of these things should match the time that they are in. It should match, and it should match with the great, and it should show the great necessity which they have of the rain. So they should try to
pretend and show that how great they are in need of this rain. And so the imam, he should he should come out of the masjid, or come out to the masjid or to the musalla in this manner. Okay, so he should go out in this manner. اوكي ويخرج متواضعا متخشيا متذللا ومعه أهل الدين والصلاح والشيوخ والمميزون فيصلي بهم ركعتين كالعيد. So the imam should go out for the prayer in a state of humility, submissiveness and devotion. Yani this is how his hal and situation should be. uh, Humility. He should not wear clothes which are new. You should not apply perfume and things of that nature, because it all goes against the situation they are in. Accompanied by righteous individuals and scholars, as well as the elderly and children who have not yet reached puberty. Why? The reason for including the elderly, righteous people, and young children is that their supplications are more likely to be answered. Then the Imam leads the people in two rak'ah, just like Salatul Eid, and then delivers one khutbah only, not two. So he begins the khutbah with the takbir, just like in the Eid prayer or the Eid khutbah, which he does. During the khutbah, he frequently seeks forgiveness. As Allah states in the Quran, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا in Surah An-Nuh. So I said, Yani Nuh alayhi salam, said, seek forgiveness from your Rabb. Indeed, He is ever forgiving. As a result, He will send down upon you rain in abundance, and He will support you with wealth and children, and make you for you gardens, and make for you rivers. So forgiveness is one of the causes of rains to come down, and a wiping of the sins, staying away from sins, dhulm, oppression. These are all they are like reasons for rain to come down. The imam then raises his hands, and then he supplicates with the dua of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for rain. There are many dua: Allahumma skina, Allahumma skina, Allahumma qina al-ghaisa wa la taj'alna min al-qanitin, or Allahumma skina ghaisam mughisa haniyam mariya, the dua wa sahhan ghadaqan tabaqan majallalan na'fiyan ghayra darrin. Such kind of duas which are authentically reported, a person should try to, or the imam should say such kind of duas as they are narrated from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as well as some of the noble companions radiyallahu anhum. So Imam should say this. And he says, uh, وَيُكْسِرُ فِيهَا الْإِسْتِغْفَارِ, as we said, وَقِرَاءَةْ آيَاتٍ فِيهَا الْأَمْرُ بِهِ. Also he should recite those ayat in which Allah has commanded the people to seek forgiveness. So these are the ayat which the Imam should recite. Likewise, وَيَرْفَعُ يَدَيْهِ وَيَدْعُ بِدُعَاءِ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He should raise hands. So raising hands is also a established sunnah, especially at the time of seeking rain as well. So he should raise his hands, and raise his hands as high as possible, because it is reported that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was raise hands such that the whiteness of the armpits could be seen. So he should raise his hands, and he should supplicate to Allah. وَيُنَادَى لَهُ كَكُسُوفٍ الصَّلَاةُ جَامِعَةً. And there is no azan for Salatul Istisqa, just like there is no azan for kusoof. Rather, a person will call whoever the Imam will appoint, and he will give a general call saying As-Salatu Jamia. Okay, the prayer which is now about to start, congregational prayer, should give a call so that the people can come to know of it. وَسُنَّ وُقُوفٌ فِي أَوَّلِ مَطَرٍ وَإِخْرَاجُ مَتَاعِهِ لِيُصِيبُهُ وَلِيُصِيبَهُ وَقَوْلُهُ مُطِرْنَا بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَيَهْرُمُ بِنَوْءِ كَذَا. So after the khutbah and the supplication, the Imam, he will turn his cloak, the top, the cloth which is worn on the top side of the body, or the upper side of the body. So the Imam turns his cloak inside out if he is wearing something like a bisht, or a cloak, or head covering otra, as a sign of hoping for a change in the condition. The people also turn their garments inside out, following this sunnah. And this practice signifies as turning from hardship to ease, and from dryness to fertility. After the public supplication in congregation, the Imam instructs the people to continue supplicating privately. He then faces the Qibla, as we said, flips his cloak, and raises hands in supplication, while the other
while the people also raise their hands and supplicate as much as this they wish to Allah. Raising the hands in supplication is mustahab, it is highly recommended in Salatul Istisqa, as it signifies the deep humility and the earnest supplication to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So the prayer is or the supplication is more likely to be answered by Allah. So all of these things are done, as a like uh, showing kind of an optimism. And then he says, when it rains, when it rains, it is sunnah to stand in the first rain which comes down and to bring out whatever you have, the utensils that you have, you bring them out so that some rain falls upon it, because this is the mercy which is coming down from Allah, from the sky. وَإِخْرَاجُ مَتَاعِهِ لِيُصِيبُهُ, so that some of the rain falls upon these items. Also, it is sunnah to say mutirna bifadlillah. It is sunnah to say mutirna bifadlillah, that this rain has come down because of the bounties and the fadl of Allah. And it is haram to say bi nawi kaza, yani mutirna bi nawi kaza, it is haram. Why? Because it is shirk. Because this ba, and it has also, this particular point is also covered by Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah in Kitabul Tawheed as well, that it is haram to say this statement because it is tantamount to shirk, depending on whether, and it could be asghar as well as akbar, depending on what your intention is. But mutirna bifadlillahi or mutirna binawi kaza, if you say, then this is shirk. Why? Because this ba, they say, the scholars, this ba is the ba of sabab, ba sababiya. So when somebody says mutirna bi nawi kaza, it is as if he is saying mutirna bi sababi nawi kaza. Now is a star, najm, star or a planet, star or a constellation. So mutirna bi nawi kaza, which means this, it rained upon us because of the star, as if you are making star, or giving star the characteristics of the Khalik, the creator. And this shirk. Now it could be asghar or akbar, depending on, if you consider only it to be uh, sabab, then it is shirk asghar. If you think that this star solely is responsible for sending the rain, then it is shirk akbar. So there is a really thin line of demarcation. So it is shirk. But if somebody says, instead of b now ikaza, if he says fi, harf jar fi, now ikaza, then it is zarfiya. This fi, it is known, it is zarfiya, which means as if somebody is trying to say, it rained down upon us when this star, it appears at this location. So it's just a khabar, information, that normally this is what we have experienced. Whenever this star or planet appears in this place or in this particular month, then it rains. So this is permissible. But binawi kaza, it is shirk, should not be done. Okay. So now, alhamdulillah, we are entering into Kitabul Janaiz. We are entering into the Kitabul Janaiz. So this Kitabul Janaiz, it is the last book in the first quarter of the fiqh, which is Kitabul Ibadah, or yani in the Kitabul Salat ends with Kitabul Janaiz. So the Musannif Rahimahullah says Kitabul Janaiz. Now, why Kitabul Janaiz is mentioned immediately after the Kitabul Salat? Because the most apparent ruling, or the most apparent thing which appears in Kitabul Janaiz is the Salatul Janaza. And since this is the, otherwise there is no other place where Kitabul Janaiz could be accommodated. So the Fuqaha, they consider it very apt to mention Kitabul Janaiz immediately after the Kitabul Salat, because this is the most apt place for it to be included and mentioned. So Kitabul Janaiz. Uh, this Janaiz is the plural for janaza, and there are two ways you can say it. Either you can say janaza or you can say jinaza, janaza or jinaza. And the scholars, they say jinaza is more preferable. Instead of saying janaza, jinaza is better. However, some scholars have mentioned differences as well. They say that when you say jinaza, then it is the mayyit, the body itself, the dead person itself is jinaza with the kasra, and janaza is that the carrier over which you carry the dead to the masjid as well as to the graveyard, that carrier. It is known as janaza with the fatha. And some have reversed it. They say janaza is the dead and jinaza is the carrier. In any way, whatever you say, this is Kitabul Janaaiz. And he says, Yusannul istiadadul lil mauti. It is masnoon to prepare for death. And a person should prepare himself for death. Also, it is masnoon iyadatul marid, to visit the sick. If you come to know of a person who is sick, then it is masnoon to visit him, seeking and hoping reward from Allah. وَتَذْكِيرُهُ التَّوْبَةَ وَالْوَصِيَّةَ. Also, it is masnoon to remind this sick person of excessive repentance and wasiya, yani to make a will. It is masnoon. However, in certain situations, making will becomes obligatory. When does it become obligatory? When this person has some rights to be paid back to someone. In that case, wasiya becomes wajib. Because if he does not do wasiya or will, if he does not prepare a will, it is likely and possible that the rights of others uh, may not be fulfilled after he has died. Otherwise, there is no other evidence that this person has some rights or due upon him. Uh, who would tell this? Unless there is a wasiya. So, in such situation, it becomes obligatory. But if he has no rights of others upon him, then in that case, it is recommended. Then he says, وَإِذَا نُزِلَ بِهِ تَعَهَدَ بَلَّ حلقه بماء أو شراب وندى شفتيه ولقنه لا إله إلا الله مرة ولا يزاد على ثلاث إن لم يتكلم ويقرأ عنده ياسين ويوجه للقبلة. When the death is, or the agonies of the death have started to appear on this person, and it is visible, and when you are sitting near someone, you are get an idea looking to the situation in general. Otherwise, only Allah knows when somebody is going to die, but indications, there are ashrat and signs. So when these signs appear that the time has arrived and it is close, balla halqahu bima'in. So try to make his throat wet by put some water in his mouth or any liquid. Try to put it in his mouth, because during these last hours the throat becomes dry, the lips they become dry. When it is the time of person to depart from this dunya, from amongst the signs is that his lips and his throat will become dry. So try to make them wet by dropping some drops of water. Wanadda shafatayhi, likewise also uh, wet the lips of this person, because if you wet the lips of the person, it becomes easy to utter the shahadatain or la ilaha illallah. It becomes easier for this person to utter the shahada if the lips are wet. Walaqqanahu, also do the talqeen, yani encourage this person to recite la ilaha illallah. Encouraging doesn't mean that you force him to say it, as many people they try to do. No, just once say, and you are sitting next to him and you are saying and reading la ilaha illallah, so that he is hearing, and after hearing you, he'll also try to repeat it. So don't force him to say, just repeat, and you read it next to him, and inshallah he will also, after hearing, he'll also repeat after you. But say it once, and do not go beyond three times. If he does not speak and does not utter, do not say it more than thrice, because like he's in the agonies of death, he's in pain. If you'll force him and keep on reciting, maybe he will deny to say these words. He will say, no, I don't want to say this, or he may die upon something else as well. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the one who dies upon, in a situation that his last words are la ilaha illallah, akhiru kalamihi la ilaha illallah, dakhala al jannah, he will enter jannah. So don't increase beyond three times. وَيَقْرَأُ إِنْدَهُ yasin, and recite near this person, not the dead, the one who has not died yet. Recite near him Suratul Yasin. As they say, it eases the agonies of the death, and it makes the process of ruh coming out in an easy manner. However, there are no authentic narrations to support this. To recite Suratul Yasin near the dying person, there are no authentic narrations. And then وَيُوَجَّهُ لِلْقِبْلَةِ, and try to face him and turn him towards in the direction of the qibla, if it is possible, obviously. If it does not involve too much of efforts, then try to turn his face towards the qibla. وَإِذَا مَاتَ سُنَّ تَغْمِيدُهُ, when this person has died. So this is the agonies of the death when he has not died yet. What are the things to be done? These are the things which has to be done. When he has died, then what are the things which are masnoon? Summa sunna taghmiduhu, closing his eyes, because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when a person dies, the eyes they follow the ruh, the way it comes out. So the eyes they follow it, so they remain open. So close the eyelids. Wa shaddu lihiyaihi, and tighten the jawbones, because it also remain, it also like it opens the jaws, they open when a person dies. So close them and tighten them. Watalinu mafasili, ensure that you keep on moving the joints, the bone joints, keep on moving them, because when a person dies, this rigorous mortis it occurs, because of which the bones they start to become stiff and they harden, not the bones but the joints. And then later on it will become very difficult when you are trying to give him bath, it will be very difficult. So keep on moving the body parts from the joints, so that they don't become stiff, they remain flexible. Also, khal'u siyabihi, remove his clothes, what he is wearing, obviously not exposing him completely or making him naked all at once. After putting some clothes, then remove the clothes which he has worn. Why? Because after some time, the body will start to swell, and then it will become difficult to remove these clothes. So remove those clothes from the body of this person, because at the time of giving bath, you have to take the clothes out. ووضعه على سرير غسله موجها مستورا بثوب, and put him on the bed over which you are going to give him the bath, that plank, wood plank, such that his back, his face is upwards, not on his side. And he make him lie down on his back, such that his face is towards the sky. And masturan bisawbin, covering him with a piece of cloth. Don't keep him naked completely, it is his aura. وَوَضْعُ حَدِيدَةٍ عَلَى بَطْنِهِ, also it is you can put it is masnoon to put a iron piece on the stomach. Why to put the this iron piece on the stomach? Because after that the stomach may swell, because of the gases formation will take place, so the stomach will start to swell. So to avoid that from happening, put a piece of iron on the stomach, the belly of this person. وإسراء تجهيزه, and in a hasten in preparation, in his preparation towards يعني ghusl, takfeen, salatul janaza, tadfeen, yani hasten in doing these things. Yani prepare him for the last, his final journey, as earlier, as quickly as possible. Unless there is a reason for you to delay a bit, that's a different thing, but otherwise hasten this procedure. Wa infadi wasiyatihi, also hasten to implement his wasiya. If at all he has made any wasiya, will implement it as soon as possible. Wa yajibu fi qada'i daynihi, and as we said earlier, this wasiya, the will, it is obligatory to be made. Yani wa yajibu fi qada'i daynihi, it is obligatory if there is any, and he borrowed money from anyone, then it is obligatory that this dain must be repaid. Why? Because this person's soul, it remains muallaq, hanging, until the loan is repaid. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he would not pray the Salatul Janaza upon a person upon whom, even if there used to be even small amount of loan, he would not pray or offer the Salatul Janaza, because the uh, dua or the Salatul Janaza of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is mustajaba. So how can he, when he knows that this person has rights of others, how can he offer Salatul Janaza so that he is forgiven? So first, ensure that you clear off your loan. So this person's loans should be clear off before going for Salatul Janaza. First loan fi ghaslil mayyit. Now this chapter is concerning the giving bath to the dead. So he says, wa ghaslul mayyiti wa takfinuhu wa salatu alayhi wa hamluhu wa dafnuhu fardu kifaya. All of these things are communal obligation. Washing the dead, shrouding him, praying Salatul Janaza over him, carrying him to the graveyard, and burying him. All of these things are fard kifaya, which means if some Muslims of the community will fulfill this obligation, then it will be waived off from the rest. If nobody does it, everyone will be sinful. وَأَوْلَى النَّاسِ بِغَسْلِهِ وَصِيُّهُ. Now, what is the order? Who is more deserving of washing, giving bath to this person? First, the wasi, yani if this person before death, if he said that such and such person will give me bath, then this person will take precedence over anyone else, even the father. So the first person who is most deserving of giving bath to this dead is the wasi, yani the one who this person said or mentioned before that death that he will give bath. Summa abuhu, and after the wasi, if there is no wasi, he did not give wasiya, did wasiya for anyone, then his father of this person. Obviously, he is male, then the father will give. It is not that if she is the daughter, then father can give. No, father cannot give bath to a female, even if she is the daughter. Father can only give bath to to his wife, not to the daughters. So, summa abuhu, then his father. Summa jaddu, if father is not there, then the grandfather. And then, in that order, the one who is nearer to this dead person, in the order of their relationship, the strength, they will give bath. Wabi unsa wasiyatuha. Likewise, for the female, her wasi. If this female, before dying, if she did the wasiya for anyone to give her bath, then that particular person, obviously woman, will take precedence over anyone else. If there is no wasi, then the mother of this dead person, dead woman, she is more deserving of giving her the bath. If mother is not there, then the grandmother, and likewise, again, according to the relative strength of the relationship with the dead woman. وَلِكُلٍّ مِّنَ الزَّوْجَيْنِ غَسْلُ صَاحِبِهِ, and either of the husband and the wife can give bath to the other. It is permissible, as Asma radiyallahu anha, wife of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq made this wasiya that if I die before you, you will give bath to me. So Asma radiyallahu anha gave bath to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu after he has died. So husband and wife can give bath to each other. Likewise, Sayyidun ma'amatihi. Likewise, a master can give bath to slave woman, because slave woman is just like kind of a wife to a Sayyid, a master. So he can give bath to the slave woman who has died. Wali rajulin wamra'atin ghaslu manduna sab'i sinin. Other than these situations, opposite genders cannot give bath to the other, except for husband giving wife what wash to the wife and wife giving wash to the husband. Even father, as I said, cannot give bath to the daughters. Brothers cannot give bath to the sisters. Likewise. Also, there is one more situation wherein a man can give bath to a female and a female can give bath to a male. When when the one who has died is under the age of 7 years. Min man duna sab'i sinin. Yani the one who has died is less than the age of 7 years. Then if this boy or child who has died, if this child is a male less than 7 years of age, then woman can give bath to this child of less than 7 years of age. And likewise, if it is a girl less than 7 years of age, then males can give birth to this child less than 7 years of age. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْضُرْهُ مَنْ لَهُ تَغْسِيلُهُ يُمِّمْ. And if it is not possible to give bath for some reason, then tayammum can be done. Tayammum can be done if it is not possible, or if, for example, yani a person died, yani a male died in a community where there are no males, only females are there. Absolutely not possible. Only females are there. Or a female died wherein there are only males, there are no females. Now who will give birth to this male or this female? Or water is not available, for example. In this situation, what is to be done? Tayammum. Tayammum would be done. Yani male died amongst female only. So these female, what they will do? They will cover the whole body, has to be kept covered, and they will wipe the face with the this will take sand or dust or dirt, and then they will wipe over the face and the hands, and khalas, they will shroud the person completely, then it will be buried. Likewise for the female also, tayammum would be done. وَإِذَا أَخَذَ فِي غَسْلِهِ سَتَرَ عَوْرَتَهُ. Now when he'll begin to give him bath, yani the person, the Muslim man, those who are present there, when they will begin giving bath to this person, then he will cover the aura. Aura must be covered. Navel to knee is the aura of the male, so it is to be covered completely. Satara auratahu
وَجَرَّدَهُ وَسَتَرَهُ عَنِ الْعُيُونِ. Also, yani remove the clothes. As we said earlier, the clothes have to be removed completely. Obviously, after covering the aura, not exposing him, and try to keep him away from the eyes of the people. Only those who are required there, one or two or three people who are required at the time of giving the ghusl should be present. It is not like kind of a a fair and male eyes there. No, it is not a circus going on. So only as many people should be there who are required absolutely. Summa yarfa'u rasahu. Now when the bath is, they start giving the bath, what to do? Raise his head, birifqin, gently, up to this position, like almost sitting position, Nani. Bring him to this position. Lift his head to a position such that as if he is sitting. Okay, وَيَعْصِرُ بَطْنَهُ بِرِفْقٍ, and gently press the stomach. Stomach would be somewhere here. So gently press the stomach so that if there are any leftover things inside the intestines, they come out with this pressing. But do it gently, not pressing too much. وَيَكُونُ سَمَّ بَخُورٌ, and also ensure that when you are doing this activity, put some perfume, fragrance near you, because there would be bad smell coming out from the body of this person. So keep some bukhur nearby. وَيُكْثِرُ صَبَّ الْمَاءِ إِذًا, and at that time when you are pressing the stomach, ensure that enough amount of water is poured so that any fadalat and anything which is coming out from the body, it washes away. وَيَلُفُّ عَلَى يَدِهِ خِرْقَةً يُنَجِّيهِ بِهَا وَيَغْسِلُ مَا عَلَيْهِ مِن نَجَاسَةٍ, and wrap a piece of cloth on your hand, a small piece of cloth on your hand, and then clean this person when you are pressing the stomach and cleaning the areas from where this fadlat are coming out. Do this after wrapping something on your hand, because you cannot touch the aura of other person. Even though he has died, you cannot touch the aura. So ensure that you wrap a piece of cloth on your hand and then you wash him, and wash off all the najasat which are coming out from the body, but not directly touching it. With any case, it is najasa, you cannot touch it with your hand. Thumma yanwi ghaslahu, after cleaning him, removing anything which is there in the stomach by gently pressing the stomach, the najasa it came out from the body. After that, intend, the one who is giving the bath, he will intend to give this person ghusl. Then he will say Bismillah, just like as a person he does for if he himself takes the bath. So he'll say Bismillah, Yusammi. Then he will wash his hands, just like as you do. Yani, if you are taking bath after janaba, after the major ritual impurity, what you do first, you begin with washing your private part area, so that any najasa, if there are semen or anything is there, you wash it off by pouring water. Some If something of it has stuck to your hand, then what you do, you wash your palms after that. Likewise, you wash the palms of this dead. yaghsilu kaffayhi wa yuwaddihi nadman wala yudkhilu ma'an famahu wala anfahu. Okay, so then he says that after, and this is washing the palms and all of these things, they fall under, they are nadban things, they are recommended. They are recommended because, as you know, this dead, he has not touched any of, neither the private part, not nor this dead has touched the any of the impurities of the najasa. But this is to be done because you are giving ghusl. The way a living person takes the ghusl, likewise same way the ghusl is to be given to the dead person. Also ensure that no water enters the mouth and the nose, because once it goes inside, it is very difficult to take it out, because the person is he has died. So how he will give or send the or the throw the water out from his mouth or his nose? Bal usbu'ihi bi khirkatin khashinatin mablulatin bima'in baina shafatayhi. Rather, what you should do, you will take your two fingers, the one who is giving bath, he will take his two fingers, put a piece of cloth on these two fingers, put piece of cloth on these two fingers, some coarse cloth which is coarse, not very smooth, and pour some water on it to make it wet, mablula, and then
insert these two fingers in the mouth as well as in the nose to clean it. And with your fingers, clean the nose of this person, and with the fingers, you clean the teeth and the mouth of this person. So this takes the place of madmada and istinshaq. As you do, as a living person does the madmada and istinshaq during the ghusl, it substitutes it for a dead person. So he will, like brush his teeth, and using the fingers, he will clean the nostrils of this person. Then he will take sidr. Sidr is known, it is kind of a soap only. It is no leaves, low tree. They give foam when it is mixed with water. So take some sidr, mix it in water. When you mix it properly, some foam will generate. Now take this foam from the top surface of the water, and with this foam, rub the head and the beard only of the man. If it is a man, then the beard and the head. If it is a woman, then only the hairs of the woman are to be uh, washed with the foam of the sidr. Summa yaghsilu shiqqahu al-ayman summa al-aysar. After having washed the head and the beard for the man and only hair for the female, then wash the right side of the body first, and then the left. Wash it with water, pour water on the right side of the body and then on the left side of the body. Then pour the water thrice completely. Pour the water thrice, once, second, and third time. Every time when you are pouring water, press your hand during every wash, press your hand gently on the stomach, so that if still there is any najasa inside the intestine, it will come out during this washing. So once, twice, thrice. Yani, but even after three times, yani if you are giving wash, you are pouring water for the first time, you press the stomach, something came out. Again, you pour the water, clean the area so that the najasa it washes off. Second time, again press the stomach, again something came out. Pour the water, wash off the, pour the water on the body, wash off the najasa. Again, press it third time. If in the third time nothing comes out, khalas, the ghusl is over. But if something comes out, even after the third wash, then you can maximum go up to seven times. Third time, fourth time, still if something is coming out, fifth time, still is something coming out from the private parts, sixth time, again something came out, seven time. This is the last. For illam yanqa, if it doesn't get purified, with three, zada hatta yanqa, and increase until it becomes clean. But in other books, it is mentioned that maximum up to seven times. You need not to keep on washing, for the eternity. No, stop after seven time. And for example, even after seven time, if it does not stop, and if still if you see that some fluids are coming out from the private part, what to do? They say put a cotton on those exit points. Cotton. If the cotton is not able to hold on this fluid, then take mud, and this mud mixed with the water, mud, take it and put it on those areas, and then it will stop. After that, no need to wash further. Just shroud the body. During the last wash, be it the third wash if nothing comes out, or the seventh wash if something is still coming out, in the seventh wash, the last wash, put some camphor, kafur. Kafur has a property. Number one, it has a very nice smell. It drives the insects away. Also, it stiffs the body, makes it stiff. Otherwise, over time, if you leave the body as it is, the skin will start to disintegrate, and the body will not be able to remain it will not remain intact. It will start to disintegrate. So kafur has the property that it will keep it integrated, and the body will remain stiff. وَيُكْرَهُ مَاءٌ حَارٌ لَمْ يُحْتَجْ إِلَيْهِ, and it is disliked to use hot water. It is disliked to use hot water, because the hot water, it will do, it will just undo what the kafur has done. We are using kafur for what? To keep the body stiff, otherwise it will disintegrate. Hot water will do exactly opposite of it. It will again make the body loose, unless there is a need for it. If there is no need, then don't use the hot water. Then he says, wa muhrimun maitun kahai. This muhrim, the one who has died in the state of haram, he is just like a living person. He is just like a living person. He should be given what bath with water and sidr wa yujanna battib, yani he will take all the ahkam of a muhrim as if he is alive. Those mahzurat of the ihram will be applicable to him. If he has died in the state of ihram, then his head should not be covered, he cannot apply perfume, stitched clothes should not be he should not be wrapped in stitched clothes. All of these rulings will apply. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when that person, he died after having fallen down from the camel, the person died. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, give him bath with water and sidr, but do not apply perfume and keep his face open, don't cover his head. Why? Because he will yub'asu yawm al-qiyamati mulabbiyan. He will be raised up on the day of resurrection while saying talbiyah. So a person dying while performing a righteous deeds, an act of worship, act of obedience, is from amongst the signs of righteous ends. It is amongst the signs of righteous ends. So Teeb, smell, perfume should not be applied. Face should not be covered. Head should not be covered. Stitched clothes should not be, he should not be given shrouding in stitched clothes. Wala yulbisu zakarun wakhitan. Stitched clothes should not be given to the zakar, yani the male who has died, because this is from the mahzurat of ihram for a male. Wala yugatta rasu. Likewise, his head should not be covered. Wala wajhun sa. Likewise, the face of the woman should not be covered, because these are the mahzurat of ihram. Wala yughassal shahidu marakatin. The person who died in a battlefield as a martyr, he should not be given bath. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this person will rise up, will get up on the day of resurrection with the blood, the fresh blood, it will be appearing on his body with this fresh blood, and the smell as the smell of musk. So he should not be given bath, because this blood which is on the body of this martyr is from the traces of an ibadah. Jihad is an ibadah. He died on fi sabilillah. So it is. These are the leftover remnants and the traces and the signs of the ibadah which he performed. So let it be there. So he should not be given bath. Wala yugassal shahidu marakatin. And shahid are of different types. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a woman who dies while giving birth to a child, she is shaheed. The person who dies oppressively, wrongfully, a mazloom, is a shaheed. A person who dies because of injury in the stomach is shaheed. The person who dies because of plague is a shaheed. A person who dies because of drowning is a shaheed. A person who dies burning in fire is a shaheed. A person who dies if wall falls down upon him is a shaheed. But this shaheed and the shaheed who dies in the maraka, though they take almost the same hukum as a martyr, but they are different when it comes to the ahkam of this ghusl and all the salatul janaza, ghusl, kafan. The ahkam are different. So Shahidul Maraka, he takes a different hukum, the one who has died in the battlefield. While those are also, they are Shaheed, but they will not take this ruling. They will be given bath, they will be shrouded, they will be prayed over. All of these things will occur with them or happen with them. But Shahidul Maraka, he is not to be given bath. Likewise, Maqtulun Zulman illa linahwi janabatin. This Maqtulun Zulman, who was killed wrongfully and he died while protecting and preserving his honor or honor of the family or his wealth or property, and he died while defending himself or his property or his family, and he died, he is also uh, you know mentioned along with the Shahidul Maraka. He takes the same hukum. Other than these two, though they may be considered as Shaheed, but these ahkam of giving, washing, shrouding, all of it will apply to the others except for these two. Illa linahwi janabatin, yani they are not to be given bath except if they died in the state of janaba, major ritual impurity. In that case, they are to be given the bath. Evidence is the incident of Hanzala al-Ghasil radiyallahu anhu. Hanzala ibn Amirin al-Ghasil, famously known as al-Ghasil, because the angels, they gave him bath. They gave him the ghusl because when the general call for the battle was made, he yani he was engaged in physical relationship with his wife, and when immediately he came to know of it, he immediately went out without even taking a bath, and then he fought and he died, radiyallahu anhu. So the angels gave him bath, and he came to be known as Al-Ghasil, Hanzala Al-Ghasil, and Maghsul, the one who was given bath by the angels. So if they are in the state of janaba, then yes, bath is to be given. وَيُدْفَنْ فِي سِيَابِهِ بِدَمِهِ, and he is to be buried in the same clothes that he has worn, be it this Maqtul Zulman or the Shahidul Maraka. They are to be buried in their clothes, and you don't give them separate shroud. Bada naz'i salahin wa jaldin, yani or jildin. After removing the weapons or animal skin, if they were carrying it for keeping their weapons or something, remove all of those things except for the clothes. Let the clothes be there and bury them in the same clothes. No separate shrouding should be done. فَإِن سُلِبَهَا كُفِّنَ بِغَيْرِهَا. But if, like before getting martyred, if the clothes of this soldier were removed by the enemy, so they have no clothes, they are naked, in that case, yes, they have to be given the kafan, and you cannot bury them naked. Then the kafan is to be given, because there are no clothes. They were taken by the enemy, so he is to be shrouded in that case. Otherwise, no. Then he says, وَسِقْتٌ لِأَرْبَعَةِ أَشْهُرٍ كَمَوْلُودٍ حَيًّا. Siqt is a premature baby, the premature baby. So if this is siqt, then if this siqt or a premature baby, if this premature delivery occurs, or yani 4 months or after 4 months, then this siqt will take the same ahkam as that of a living child, which means he is to be named, he is to be given bath, he is to be shrouded, he is to be prayed over, he is to be buried in the graveyard of the Muslims after 4 months. Why? Because of that hadith of Abdullah ibn Masud radiallahu anhu, which is also in Arba'in and Nawawiyah, wherein he says that As-Sadiq al-Masduq informed me that when one of you is in the button of your mother, then you are a nutfa for the first 40 days, summa alaqatan mithlu dhalik, and then afterwards you turn into the chewed piece of flesh, mudghatan mithlu zalik, and then angel is commanded and sent to blow the ruh, and this happens after 120 days. 120 days is like 4 months. 30 into 4 is 120. So the ruh is blown after 4 months. So if this miscarriage occurs after 4 months, then this child is to be given a name, given bath, and shrouded, prayed over, Salatul Janaza, and then buried in the graveyard of the Muslims. If it occurs before the 4 months, then no, because the ruh has not yet been blown. So he is not to be given bath, he is not to be shrouded, he is not to be prayed over. But yes, he will be buried. You cannot throw it anywhere. It is to be buried in the graveyard of the Muslims, but without those ahkam. وَمَنْ تَعَذَّرَ غَسْلُهُ يُمِّمْ. And if it is not possible, if it is not possible to give bath, either because the dead is completely burnt, for example, may Allah save us from such an end, or for example his body was cut into pieces by the enemies, small pieces, now it is not possible for you to give it bath, then in that case tayammum, do the tayammum. Even if tayammum is also not possible, then he is to be buried in the situation which he is in without giving bath and tayammum. وَعَلَى غَاسِلٍ satru sharrin. And the ghasil, the one who is giving bath, it is obligatory upon him to keep the evil signs which he has seen, to keep them hidden, not to expose them, because they are the ones who directly watch these dead, and they know things which others may not know. From amongst the signs of evil end or good end, he may see those signs, like the face turning black and things of that nature. So he should not inform and tell people about these signs. He should keep them hidden to himself only, because there is no benefit. Number one, because what he could considers to be signs, evil signs, or like bad end, signs of bad end, it may not be. Like face turning black could be because of the blood getting accumulated underneath the skin. It could be a reason for it, not necessarily a sign of bad end. So it is not for sure that Someone's face turning black is always a sign of evil end. It could be for multiple reasons. So number one, because the second thing is that it may cause unnecessary pain to the family of the dead. If they come to know of it, that such were the signs which this person saw, it may bring pain, grief, sadness to the family of this person who has already passed away and died. So for this reason, this ghasil should be Amin. He should not mention the evil signs which he has seen. Yeah, if he has seen some good signs, he should mention them, so that people come to know of it and they are encouraged to do righteous deeds. The family also feels happy. Good things he can mention, but evil things he should try to hide as much as possible. So we stop here. Inshallah, we'll cover the remaining portion in tomorrow's class. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum.